Hey y'all, it's Molly with Mini Acres, and I just wanted to show y'all around a little bit before it gets too hot out here, because again, we are in Northwest Florida, Zone 8, and it is the surface of the sun right now. It actually doesn't feel too bad this morning because it rained all night, but it is gonna be a scorcher today. So let's see if this rain gauge says, let's see. It rained all night. I'm not sure if this is accurate, but about 2.5 inches. We'll check the other one too. So let me think, how do I want to start? So first of all, I just did a video about failures in the garden, and I don't know what my point is, except I'm really tired and struggling mentally, not just with like being overwhelmed or it being hot, but also just my own personal struggles that, you know, I just don't have a lot of energy all the time to do what I want to do. But gardening is helpful. It is therapeutic. So last night I brought my little ducks out to the garden, and I was like, I'm just going to walk around and I'm going to pull a couple of weeds. And if I don't feel like doing anything else, then I won't. But if I do, then I'll just keep going and I'll go slowly. So what wound up happening is I pulled weeds for 2 hours, and I actually basically pulled all the weeds. Well, I mean, I see a few stragglers. All the weeds out of all 4 of my raised beds. And I discovered some really fun stuff. I went slowly because one thing about me, and I don't know, that's like been my personality, is I always try to get things done really quickly and do too many things at once, and so things get messed up. And when doing that with gardening, I accidentally will pull out seedlings or stuff like that when I'm trying to weed. So for one thing, I was like, just go slow, take your time, just enjoy the afternoon, let the ducks piddle around, and just pull a few weeds. And in doing so, I was able to fully appreciate things that I found. Like I was able to see things that I wouldn't have noticed otherwise. I was able to find 5 fat hornworms, so the chickens had a snack. Then I was tired. I was too tired to do anything else. I still feel better that I actually did accomplish something. So I'm not sure what my point is, except maybe if you're feeling overwhelmed, just pull a weed, and that's better than nothing. We'll go with that. Let's take a look. So over here, I emptied out almost all of the squares that were just full of weeds. That is a piece of frosted explosion grass. I'm glad I brought it over here because the stuff that I planted out in the other garden, I will show y'all. It was like this tall when I finally planted it out, and it got about this tall, and then it exploded. It's cute, but I can't use it in bouquets. And my white borage, only one looks really healthy. But I had to rip out the cucumbers. And what else? Oh, the hornworms were all over the tomatoes. This marigold, it was falling on the ground, so I pulled it back up. The Berry's Crazy Cherry, it's putting on more fruit, but because I was neglecting it, I didn't notice that it was being demolished by a hornworm. So we'll see if it comes back. I'm really not sure if it will. This little patch of marigolds is just beautiful. I love how full and fluffy it is. But I know that like the humidity is getting all trapped in there, and it's not good for that tomato plant. Same thing with this blueberry. It was doing very well. It was pretty healthy, but as you can see, it was just eaten by the hornworm. I should have come out here with a black light last night to see if there were any more. This sweet pea currant is looking all right. Look, I've got these onions here that I didn't know were doing well. I've got 2 little baby tomato plants that look healthy, so I'm going to leave those, and maybe those will give me some fall tomatoes. What else? The mystery tomato is not dead. And there's some basil that I didn't know was looking not too bad. Most of my basil looks terrible, but the basil that I tried to start, when I tried to start a whole bunch of new basil, they all died with that tray of sunflowers. My little artichokes are not dead over here. See, there's some more onions. I don't remember. I feel like these were supposed to be the bulbing onions. Yes, the bugs are really loud this morning. morning, little spider. And let's see what else. Oh, this was fun. I didn't even know that this eggplant had survived, but it tried to put on a little plant. I mean, it tried to put on a little fruit for me. Cleaning all this space out. I'm not sure what I want to do with this just yet. I have some cowpeas that made, but I mean, 3 little plants with just a couple of pods on them. I just was like not gonna bother picking them, so I think I'm just gonna save the seeds. There's the carnage from pulling weeds, so that's on today's plans, is to rake that up. Those 2 gourds apparently fell. The birdhouse gourd vine it pulled itself down. I'll show y'all when I get to the other end. What is this? I don't remember planting beans on this side. So over here, I should have known that I could have planted more of the yard-long beans. I only planted a few, and the aphids were terrible. But early on, we had a bunch of rain, and it washed the aphids off, and then they didn't come back. So, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Lesson learned. This whole spot is cleaned out, but you can see the birdhouse gourd is climbing everywhere. My chamomile, I'm hoping maybe that'll come back. It's just a tiny little sprig of a thing. Let's see. Let's go under here. I did pull a little tomato plant in here that was dead, but there was one little tomato on it. That's the remnants of, I shared it with the ducks. It was an Abe Lincoln, and it was small, but it tasted good, so I just sat out here and ate it for a snack. Tabasco peppers are really coming on fast now. Malabar spinach. This, I'm going to harvest some of this today. The green and the red. And oh, look at the berries. I'm going to try using this in a smoothie that I normally use spinach in and see if we like it, see if the kids like it, because I haven't used any of this yet. Danny over at Happy Farms was talking about it's great that we're growing this and it is a survival food, but she really wasn't like worried about using it. I know that kind of sounds crazy, but I'm an overthinker for sure. Like if I plant something, I need to use it, otherwise I feel guilty. But that sort of gave me permission to be like, it's okay if you don't eat everything in your garden. It's okay if you don't try to, use everything to its fullest. It's okay if you get overwhelmed and just have to let things go and maybe let the animals have it or something. So thanks for that, Danny. So as we come out from under the birdhouse gourds, let me turn around and show you. They pulled down my lights. Let's see if you can see. You see the lights? There were more lights that went this way, and they got really heavy and pulled them down, which I knew it was coming. Hopefully I can untangle them when the vine's dead and still save the lights. They are solar powered, so I don't think it'll break them. We'll find out. You can see here my beautiful queen lime zinnias have the blight. There's nothing to be done about it. It happens. They made it through a long while before this happened. Thankfully, I do have more that are coming up over in the actual flower bed space. So I'm still using these for what few little bouquets I've been making. I've been right now making 1 or 2 bouquets a week. Has been how many flowers I have enough to do, because my sunflowers started coming on sooner than expected. Now, let's go back over here. In pulling weeds and pulling out dead flower plants and stuff, I discovered that the hornworms also found, look, well, they didn't do as much damage here, but these 2, I think these are my Pusujwala, they ate them down. I don't know if these plants are going to make it at this point, so I think I'll take what peppers I can get off of them and just have to deal with it. But I hope they burned their fat little mouths on the peppers. These marigolds, I've been using these in bouquets too, and they're really, they last a long time, and I like the way they smell. But I've got the orange ones, and then over there somewhere, I've got the yellow ones. more peppers that I'm gonna harvest today. Pulled out the cucumbers, and there's this plant, I'm not sure what this is. I know it's a weed, but it is in there really just like, I don't even know. Like when I tried to pull it, it felt like it was gonna pull all of the bed with it. So I just left it. I think I'm gonna chop it. But at the same time, I was kind of curious, what is it? But it's definitely a weed. But sad thing, I didn't know that my, what is this? I didn't know that my comfrey died. There was a big comfrey plant in there, and it was doing really well. And I really wasn't sure yet if I was going to cut it back or what I was going to do. Well, I didn't get a chance because it died. There's barely any part of it left now. So I'm really not sure what to do. Should I cut the whole thing back and let it come back? Should I dig it up and try to save it? What should I do? So if we go down here, you see, I don't know if you remember, but I had a Kajari melon, I had some other melons, and they all were murdered, along with all of my little squash and zucchinis. Everybody was murdered violently by some sort of bug. Bindweed for days also in here, like coming out of the paths and in the plants. It tries to choke everything. I've got more peppers over here. I think I'm going to pick some today. There's the yellow marigolds. I got to get in there and tend to my little potted plants and also see how the bindweed is all over. That partially is what pulled down that peach tree limb. We have gotten some peaches that were actually sweet, and I think we're going to finish harvesting peaches today. This was a pepper that I didn't know was there because the plant was laid down underneath weeds, and that is a California Wonder. I'm quite proud to have actually grown a nice little bell pepper. And then these beans are dead. Can y'all hush? My little red wasp family, they put up with a lot of jiggling last night. I didn't mean to, but I kept jiggling this arbor, and they didn't come at me or anything. They just, I don't know. Do you think maybe they know? Maybe they know I'm a friend? Same thing over here. I had tromboncino squash. They were doing so well, and they were just completely turned to lace. This tomato plant, actually, I need to look for more hornworms, but I found a big fat one on this plant. But I did get a tomato off of this plant, and it's yellow, and it's not small. So I'm still, again, not sure what this is. Hey, I didn't do anything over here. I got tired by the time I got over here. But I did pull some hornworms off of some of these tomato plants, but otherwise they're doing great. All right, let's go take a look real quick at the other garden. And when I mentioned the sunflowers that died, that didn't make it, the ones that I would be planting out right now, because they're 2 weeks old, they're too small to plant out. I have found mice in my garden, and I don't want them to come and eat them. And I know that you can plant them out at 2 to 3 weeks old, so I'm going to give them another week, and then we'll see what goes from there. So those are all fall color flowers, so I don't know if that has something to do with the germination or the, you know, them surviving, because the lighter colored ones are the ones that I had that they almost germinated 100%. They just did really, really well. So I don't know. This is all still an experiment. So, I mean, it's not a big deal. I'm trying to tell myself it's not a big deal if, you know, I don't have a ton of flowers to get me through the next couple of months to actually sell. I'm still learning. The Hot Mess Express of weeds. So that says we got almost 2 inches according to this one. All of these sunflowers are just getting sick. They just aren't healthy. By the time the necks are strong enough for me to cut them, the blooms are already really buggy and spent. So, I mean, technically I could just like mow all of those down, but I'm just leaving them for now. I'm just leaving them, letting the bees enjoy them and the butterflies enjoy them. Let's go look at the good stuff. so here are the sunflowers I've already cut several off of. Let's go over here. Oh, I need to harvest that one. Oh, that one opened up very quickly. I have a couple of them that are this color in the house that I harvested, I think, a little too soon, but they are opening inside. But I couldn't tell. I thought that they were to that stage where you want to harvest them like right before the petals completely lift so that you get them before the bugs do. This is my Oklahoma mix. He's still wiggly. So, yeah, I have a bunch of sunflowers I can harvest this morning. And a bunch of zinnias are coming up. You're so cute. That is a queen lime mix. I would guess that's a red. Cinnamon basil. Duke is a fan of the lemon basil, it would seem. The lemon basil smells like Fruit Loops, and I love it. Marigolds that are not growing very quickly. Cosmos are coming on. Oh boy. These guys popped overnight. I was just out here yesterday and none of these were bloomed. Celosia, I think they really liked that rain last night because that one is like 6 inches taller than it was yesterday. Azuratum is coming on. I don't even know what that's going to look like when it's done. More. Oh, this is a State Fair zinnia. More sunflowers. Let's look here. Okay, so you can see the watermelons. I need to check. That one looks like it could be ready. Here's that frosted explosion grass. You see how tiny it is? It's cute, but it's tiny. And then more sunflowers. Okay, so gonna do whatever the things I just said I was gonna do. Maybe do more. I don't know. There might be an after to this. There might not. But I'm also going to check my water glass eggs today. They have been in the pantry for 8 months. And we're going to do a taste test, a side-by-side comparison. So stick around for that. And so I think I'm going to take these and hang them up somewhere so they're not sitting on the ground and just see if they dry and whatever happens. Here's the Malabar spinach. I decided just to harvest the green and use that in a smoothie and see if that's maybe more tasty than the red. I'll try the red another day maybe, but I thought I should probably try each variety because the plants look a little different. They grow a little different. Here, let me show you. I've got a bunch of peppers under there, and I ate another sweet banana pepper that was super hot because I am a sucker for punishment apparently. And so look, so there's the red. The leaves are smaller, the vines are skinnier, and it's already making berries. Here's the green. The leaves are bigger, the vines are juicier, and it's not making berries yet. So here goes this experiment. I will show y'all our smoothies that I make with them. We call it Hulk juice. And I'm going to show y'all the glass eggs. And I'm going inside because it's already hot and it's only like 8:30 in the morning at this point. Heyo. So here we have the water glassed eggs. I'll put a link to the video that I followed when I first did this. It was her Healthy Homes channel. And it looks kind of gross, but it doesn't smell bad. And I'm gonna just scoop out one egg because if I remember right, you don't want to jostle them or anything. You really want them to be as still as possible. So I'm gonna scoop out one egg, maybe two, and then we're gonna do a little comparison. Okay, here is a fresh day-old egg. Here is the glassed egg. I rinsed it off. It had a little bit of like a salty kind of crusty layer from when it came through the top of the liquid. So let's crack it open and see what happens. Okay, it looks almost identical to the other egg. The shell is a little bit harder and the yolk is a little bit darker. I'm not sure what my chickens were eating back in January, but it looks pretty, yeah, thank you. It looks pretty healthy and almost identical. The yolk in the fresh egg is just a little bit lighter, but again, what are my chickens eating right now? So what I'm going to do is cook these over easy and put them on some avocado toast and tell you what I think. Okay, this one, okay, I accidentally broke the yolks on both of them, but that actually wound up being kind of neat because I could see that the yolk was a little bit runnier on the glassed egg. Otherwise, they cooked the same, they smell the same, and now let's see if they taste the same. Come here, buddy. Okay, let's try this one. I'm not scared to try it just because it didn't smell or look funny. I think I added a little too much salt. There's something about it. It doesn't taste old, but you know when you eat an older egg, there's just, it's not, I wouldn't say it's stale. It's completely edible. Let's just say that. It's completely edible. So I think I'm going to leave them in there even longer and just see how long they can go, because I was reading about people saving them up to like a year later. I would say this was a success. All right, time for the experiment. I'm making what my kids call Hulk juice. Normally I use baby spinach, but I'm going to try this green Malabar spinach that I just picked this morning, and I'm using store-bought strawberries because that's all I have, and a little bit of sugar because they usually aren't very sweet, and then water. And since those are frozen, I don't think I need ice, but sometimes I use ice if it needs to be thickened, and add a little more water if it needs to be thinned, you know, like a smoothie. You guys know how to do a smoothie, right? So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we're going to do a taste test. So it actually looks kind of gross and brown, but it's supposed to be green. I did a cup of water, a cup of frozen strawberries, and maybe 2 cups, probably, cup and a half, I'm not sure, it was just crammed in there, of the Malabar spinach. The only difference I can tell is it tastes fresher, maybe. Like it's got just a little bit more of a green taste than the baby spinach, if that makes sense. But I think it's good, and I'm going to test it out on my children. Ooh, okay, it is still very hot out here, even though it is evening, and we're done. But actually, I did have one more thing I noticed that I wanted to show y'all, and hey, I'm talking. You're fine. And go take a peek at what we got done today. Well, my son picked peaches. Last night, I think the rain damaged a lot of the peaches that we should have picked already, but we didn't think about it in time. But I got 4-gallon bags of peaches in the freezer. So I would say that's a success, considering we've, like last year, maybe got a handful of peaches off of those trees. This is the first year we've had a really good peach harvest. So I'm gonna harvest some elderberries. Hey. Just the ones that are ripe. You only want to harvest them when they're black. They are poisonous otherwise. Isn't it fun how much stuff we can eat, but if we don't eat it at the right time or the right way prepared, it will kill us? I think that's fun. So I'm going to do that real quick. I guess I should have brought a bigger bowl. I didn't think that was going to be very many bunches, but there were quite a few that I needed to harvest. So, all right, little ones, come on. Do what? Mayor Turkey Lurkey. Hello, Mayor. Hey. So, yeah, we didn't get very far before the weed eater battery died, but I had my son help me rake everything up and then also rake up the pile of weeds that was here onto it and cover it back up. So we have we'll call that a compost pile. that's just what we're going to call it. I don't know if I mentioned that the bees left. It was last weekend when we had really hot weather, and I don't know if it was that or if it was that with a combination of we missed a day of giving them sugar water, and they took off. They were like, we don't want to live here anymore. So that's the story of my life. But anyway, so all of this still needs to be mowed, but it's not a priority right now. And I tried to reposition a bunch of the birdhouse gourd vines to a different spot so that they weren't climbing on other plants. They were trying to like pull down the Tabasco peppers and stuff. So I'm gonna try to keep a closer eye on them. I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but in the YouTube Studio app on my phone, I noticed that comments showed up that I had never seen before that were like 8 months old. And all of my current comments, like if you comment and then I like it or I respond to you, it disappears. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why that changed, but responding to comments, like if you leave a comment on my video, that matters to me. Like that's important to me to acknowledge you for taking the time to leave a comment. And although YouTube can do what they want because they let us upload for free, right? And they keep unsubscribing us or hiding our notifications and taking away our subscriber counts and all the things that they do. But if you're commenting and I respond and it disappears, and then you respond again and I don't see it again because I'm not getting a notification again, that's so frustrating. So if you've commented on my videos and I didn't respond, I am very sorry. I am not ignoring you. I would not ignore you. I don't understand what YouTube's doing. I don't know if this is a glitch. I don't know if it's something they're working on or if this is just the way it's going to be now. But I just want to say, hopefully you're hearing this. If you've ever watched my videos and wondered why I didn't respond to your comments, this is why, because I didn't see it. So maybe they're fixing it where I'll see all the comments from now on and that won't happen.